Hello, and welcome to Social Workers Rise, where we inspire social workers to connect, expand their knowledge, and change more lives than they ever thought possible. We will talk everything social work on every level from micro to macro. We are going to hear stories of social workers who are doing big things, learn new skills, and most importantly, give you actionable steps to make a difference today. Let's go. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Social Workers Rise. It is your host, Catherine here. So today we're going to talk about the first thing that you need to defy the odds that are against you. And this is based off of the book that I have co-authored that's coming out in February called Voices of the 21st Century, Women Empowered Through Passion and Purpose. And my particular part is called Defying the Odds, Embracing Your Inner Strength. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Catherine. I am the host of this podcast, Social Workers Rise. I am a licensed clinical social worker based in California. Additionally, I am a mental health speaker, course content creator, therapist, and author, as I had mentioned. And I'm so glad that you are here. And this topic, I feel like, is very, very relevant to us as social workers. One, because we ourselves have defied the odds against us. And also, two, we're really the ones that are helping and guiding our clients in defying the odds against them, right? And what do I mean by this? It means that given our situation, we're likely to fail. Right? We hear this a lot in the addiction world. Like, well, okay, given your situation, you're likely to not get clean after this round of rehab, right? Or with depression, for example, right? Like, well, given this, your depression is not likely to go away. Like, man, how discouraging is that? And I don't know if you have experienced this, but I know that I have, right, throughout my life, and I've overcome a lot of different things, right? So trauma, uh, was homeless due to a natural disaster, and just had a lot of people tell me that I'm never going to get out of poverty, that I'm just going to be in the place that I was raised, and I just need to learn how to be happy with that because I'm a woman and look where I'm at, right? You really think they had no idea that I would get to the place that I am now. And looking back, yeah, I had choices to make, but I also had these three things in place that helped to make this different for me, right? So I'm looking at the people who are succeeding and not all the people that are failing. And the people who are succeeding, this is a small percentage of them, right? It's a very, very small percentage. And I want to know what they do. I'm not looking at the 98% who fail. I'm looking at the 2% who freaking made it. What are they doing? I want to do what they're doing, right? So this matters so much because when we can get this to our communities, right? When I'm able to share this information with you, this is helping to break generational poverty and trauma, right? This matters because who we surround ourselves and what we're thinking and the actions that we take, this is going to either propel us forward or hold us back from even attempting our dreams, right? From ever realizing our full potential. And a lot of times we're just so scared that we let fear hold us back. And at the end of this series, I'm hopeful that you can look fear in the freaking face and be like, I'm doing this anyways, right? Because chances are you have these three things in your life already. We just have to learn how to maximize them, right? So I'm wondering, have you ever felt like you weren't enough, right? Maybe you've been told that you're not old enough to get this job, or you're not pretty enough to do this, or you're not fast enough or smart enough to go to college. You don't have enough money to go to college. Like, who do you think that you are? I don't know if you've ever been told that, but I know I have, right? And maybe some people think, that statistically speaking, you came from this background, you had this trauma, you're just going to fail, right? You're just going to fail, and you just need to stop dreaming so big and just get real with yourself, right? These are the people that try to hold us down, who are not going to be beneficial to us. And I had these people. I had quite a few people actually who told me that I wasn't going to make it. When I told one of my high school teachers that I wanted to go to college and I want to go to Long Beach, which was an hour away, and in like this nice, it's not a rich area, but it was much nicer than the poverty area I was growing up in. And I remember distinctly this teacher said, "Well, do you know what the statistics are for a girl like you who's being raised by her grandmother to actually graduate college?" And I had no idea. I didn't care, but it was happening. I was going. And now I realize that, or I found out that, excuse me, that only 12% of people who were raised by their grandparents actually go on to graduate college. And when I saw that statistic, I was like, wow, okay, maybe we have something here. 12% is not a whole lot, right? And it didn't matter to me though, because, while they're talking down, they're talking their mess and they don't believe me, they don't see my dream. That was okay because I did. And I had one person in my corner who was there for me, who told me, yeah, Catherine, you can do anything you freaking want. And that was my grandmother. She believed in me more than I believed in myself. She was that person for me. And you have to have that person. You have to have at least one, but the more you have, the better, right? You have to have a community around you of people who believe in you, that are going to uplift you, the people who are doing the things that you want to do, right? So if you can get into these groups or start talking to these people that have accomplished what you already want, that have already accomplished what you want to accomplish, that, my friend, is going to be the sweet spot. Hey, it's Catherine here. I hope you are enjoying this episode. We're going to take a quick break to listen to these ads from our sponsors. Have your clients had a hard time finding a therapist through their health plan? The National Union of Healthcare Workers is the nation's largest union of private sector behavioral healthcare providers and a leader in the fight for mental health parity. This year, NUHW is working with allies to ensure that health plans maintain accurate, up-to-date listings of in-network providers. By eliminating so-called ghost networks, we can ensure that patients get timely access to care by finding mental health providers who are actually available and covered by their plan. Learn more at nuhw.org/networks. The next time you need continuing education units, I highly recommend the Therapist Development Center. When I started this podcast, I reached out to the founder, Amanda Rowan, to see if she was interested in being a sponsor, and she jumped at the chance to support her fellow social worker. TDC has helped more than 100,000 social workers pass their licensing exam, including myself. I love that TDC CE courses are engaging and relevant. Amanda and her experts give us clear and practical clinical skills that we can immediately apply to our work. Some of my favorites are the Edge of Life Suicide Prevention course, where Amanda shares her personal experiences, and their They Did What? Law and Ethics course that looks at real cases where therapists face formal disciplinary actions. They also have a great telehealth course. We are legally required to take continuing education to increase our competence, and most other courses out there don't actually teach the material in a way that we can learn it, but TDC does. You can also check out the links in the show notes. Additionally, there's just so many proven and researched benefits of being in community with other people, right? So, how we think about ourselves is directly influenced by the people around us and the spoken and the unspoken messages that we receive from them, right? So, have you ever told your friend, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go apply for this job. And I know it's crazy, but, I really want it. And they're just like, mm hmm, well, good luck with that. And they don't believe in us. Like, it's clear that they don't believe in us, right? Their words say that they do, but their tone and the unspoken messages that we receive tell us, okay, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should reconsider. Maybe I should just think smaller, because what if I fail? What if it doesn't work out? But on the flip side, what if it does? Yeah, you'll be scared shitless, but what if it does? Right? Like, that's going to be amazing. And I want you to always look at both sides of it, right? If it doesn't work out, cool. You learned what not to do, maybe what you could do better next time. This is all a learning process. And just being in community with the people who get it, it's going to make all the difference in the world, right? And even just being surrounded by people, it's going to reduce depression. It's going to increase your mood. It's going to give you the hope that the impossible is possible. And it's going to really help you evaluate, like, what is it that you want to do, and what do you see the people around you doing, right? So if you're in these circles, or maybe you need a new circle, maybe the people that are around you aren't very supportive, you definitely want to be in circles that make you feel good, that encourage you, that are there to see you happy. They like seeing you happy. And at the same time, they can be honest with you. If they mess up, they're like, "Hey, I apologize," right? "I'm sorry, that was my bad. I made a mistake," right? They're open and honest, they're sincere with you. And also too, that they can point out what your strengths are, what you're good at. And if you find that you're surrounded by people who are putting you down, people who don't understand your dreams, people who drain your energy and maybe make you even feel more depressed, more sad, more down, maybe they even make you nervous, right? Or they're comparing you to others, like, oh, you're just, trying to be like so and so. Or even worse, if the people around you blame you for their mistakes, that's another red flag that, maybe you're not in the circle that you need to be. And we need to refocus back on, what are our goals? What are our dreams? What do we want to do? And who is it that's already doing these things? So that is all that I have for you today. This is this podcast right here was just the first part of the chapter that I had written for this book. And I am offering public speaking engagements around this. And we do activities. It's very engaging. It's a lot of fun. It's motivational. And it helps the audience to really rethink and reshape what it is that they're doing. Are they letting fear hold them back? Are they letting their community or their peers hold them back? And what if they did get in circles where they're surrounded by other people who are successful and doing the things that they want to do? And for this, I really want to get this message out to people who are in high school, in colleges, and first generation professionals, first generation college students, because as a first gen, the odds are against you, my friend. And it's freaking hard, because you probably don't have a whole lot of people around you who are supportive and who understand. And maybe you're like me, where you had to leave to get out of that, to find that. I was never going to find those people around me who are college educated, who had big dreams, who wanted to go on to change the world. They weren't living in my city, or not that I know of. They weren't going to my high school, right? So I really had to get out and see the world and go surround myself with other people. Now, thankfully, you do have a lot easier access to do this with the internet, with groups, with chats, with networking with people, with LinkedIn. So there's so many opportunities to find the people who are already accomplished in what it is that you want to do. And you'll be surprised. A lot of people are ready and willing to help, and they want to give a hand up, and not a hand out, but a hand up. And, you know, all it takes is just one message, one phone call, one Zoom meeting that can change everything for you and help you to see that the possibilities are there. So, if this episode has helped you at all, please go ahead and share it with a friend. I appreciate it. If you are interested in ordering the book, I am taking pre orders right now. So the link is in the show notes for that. If you want other general social work resources and tips, or if you want to reach out to me to bring this talk and this speech to your audience, maybe to your university, your club, whatever it might be, let me know and we can work together on that. So I will talk to you next week. Thank you for listening to another episode of Social Workers Rise. If you love this episode, be sure to subscribe and text this episode to a friend. If you want more, there are a few ways we can get to know each other and work together. First, definitely subscribe to the Friday resource email list. The link is in the show notes. And that's where you can learn more about the courses I offer, including Clinical Essentials for the Future Therapist and the Pulse Basics for Medical Social Workers. I'll also be sending out occasional tips and resources and other happenings within the social work industry. And for all your clinical supervision needs, be sure to visit risedirectory.com. This is a national directory of clinical supervisors for social workers, and we also provide free resources that you can use within your own clinical supervision. Lastly, if you have more individualized needs, I do offer coaching, individual consultations, and am available for public speaking engagements for social workers and change makers. Lastly, the boring legal stuff, but very important. The information in this podcast is not meant to be a supplement for therapy, professional advice, or clinical supervision. This content is provided as is solely for informational purposes. It is not legal, health, or safety advice. I am not advising you as a therapist. Organizations should engage their own experts to ensure any adopted measures are compliant with applicable laws and standards in their jurisdictions. The opinions expressed by individuals or organizations are their own and do not reflect the views or opinions of Social Workers Rise or Catherine Moore. References to specific products or organizations do not constitute any endorsement or recommendations by Social Workers Rise.